It's good to be educated. It's good to find good swaps. And if you're like too overwhelmed to like start making your own dishwasher pods and your own kitchen counter cleaner and your own glass spray, like you don't have to. There are brands that are better than others. I will say a great place to start is hello, High Vibin It homies. Welcome back to another episode of High Vibin It. It's your homegirls, Kelsey Aida and Lindsay Robinson, here to help you live your best life, dive into fun spiritual topics, everyday life practical stuff to make your life better. And today is going to be one of those very practical episodes just of me and Lindsay being women living in this toxic world, trying to figure out how to be more health conscious, swap some things out for better alternatives, make some of our own stuff at home. We are just trying to avoid as many toxins as possible, which is impossible to avoid all of them at this point. So also just detoxing appropriately. And today we're going to talk about it because I think a lot of people are stressed about how toxic our environments are. They're frustrated that everything is poison. And if you resonate with that, can I get an amen?
Amen. I resonate with that. I was a little iffy on the episode, but the more we talked about it, I was more there's definitely things that we can offer that aren't intimidating. I was just, there's a lot of things that Kelsey's able to do that I could do if I didn't have a million things that take my money and my kids all the time. But I think that's why we work so well together, because Kelsey has a different lifestyle. As somebody who, as you said, if I'm okay to say it, is family planning for future, right? And me, who is in the thick of it, I think we can each of us can bring something to the table. But I did coin a term that I think I'm feeling: education fatigue. I'm sick of learning I'm just tired. I don't need to know how many chemicals, but like I want to know. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like I can't take it anymore. So this episode might be the one that I need the most, honestly.
Well, and yeah, because with social media, it's so freaking annoying because all these like no-tox, low-tox influencers are like, don't use this, don't use that, don't use this, don't use that. And then they don't fucking say what to actually use. Yeah. And I literally just saw this guy the other day and he's like, never use this in your kitchen. It's like a freaking kitchen sponge. Like, dude, what do you expect me to wash my dishes with, right? It's like getting so ridiculous to the point where people will do anything for likes and views and shareability and virability, but they're not actually helping if they don't offer you a solution, and you have to go studying for hours and hours and hours to like find the alternative, right? So we are not doing that here. What we will do is present some interesting data, some interesting facts, so we know what we're working with here, what we're up against. And then we're going to go into some of the non-toxic or more low-toxic switches that we've been making, especially since about, I think it was more than a year ago now, we had an episode on some low-tox, no-tox switches and some more eco-friendly switches, which there's a lot of overlap there on like no plastic, no toxins, right? So if you go back into the archives, I'll have to locate them and list them out in the description so you can know exactly what episodes they were. But I know they were almost back-to-back episodes, and they were both really good and a really good starting place. But since then, we've learned so much more has come to our attention. And so we're going to be talking about it today because we want to offer some solutions. And what we don't want is for you to get overwhelmed, which is very easy because it's like, oh my God, everything is poison. How am I supposed to live, right? So it's overwhelming. We get that. But what we want you to take away from this episode is just like 2-3 switches you can start with, and then just put the intention out there of like, universe, support me in making my life more non-toxic, lead me to the right switches, lead me to the right information, to the right influences, to the right people that will help me to just one thing at a time, swap it out for something non-toxic or something better for me, my health, my family, and ultimately your life.
Before we get into the new stuff, the continued list, we did get an email last time we did an episode on non-toxic, switching to non-toxic, and it was imploring us, almost begging us to talk about makeup. So I just want to say we're not going to talk about makeup This is not,
Because we
but do
haven't
your own
found enough
research.
good ones.
Yeah.
That's why I've been on the search for. I think my sister honestly could speak more to this because she's more into the skincare makeup side, and I just don't use a lot of skincare makeup, so it's not like
I have
I
like
don't.
4 products that I use almost every day, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and like I don't think my mascara is the thing that's going to be the most hard-hitting switch that I could make, right? Like I think a more hard-hitting switch would be like if I'm burning scented candles every day or
Yeah.
using Febreze, like that I think is higher priority on the list versus like just my
Yeah.
mascara that goes like on the outside of my eyes, right? So
But we do want everyone to do, if it is something you're interested in, do your own research with the makeup. I mean, do your own research with everything. Don't even take our word for it, but hopefully this will open the door for you to be able to make those decisions based on your lifestyle, what you can welcome in as a new habit. And that's all we ask. We're just going to talk about it.
yeah, and our list is kind of all over the boards, ranging from like endocrine disrupting chemicals to microplastics to
Oh, yeah.
other stuff.
Microplastic.
Yeah, the plastic is everywhere. It's a situation, so we're going to talk about it. And yeah, let's just dive in. So first I wanted to find some, well, let me tell you guys this. Okay, so I was using ChatGPT as I do as my Aquarius self to try and help me locate specific studies that I had heard of from different resources, but I haven't been saving them along the way. So I was like, hey, can you help me find this study where, they found out that this was bad or this was bad? And you guys, it was not finding them for me. And I'm just like, are the robots trying to kill us too? It was not being as helpful as I wanted. So that was disappointing. But I was able to locate some just eye-opening facts, not to stress you out, but just to like really paint the picture of where we are and why this is important that we make these switches. Okay. So I'm
gonna get stressed out. Guys, if you're getting stressed out, I'm gonna get stressed out too. We're gonna be stressed out together. Let's go.
Okay, so I'm going to read these and then we'll dive in. So, the prevalence of endocrine disorders like hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism has increased by almost 7% per year since 2000. And many researchers attribute the rise to growing exposure of EDCs found in plastics, cosmetics, and pesticides. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on pesticides. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Environmental Health found that women exposed to high levels of phthalates, BPA, PFAS, which are the forever chemicals, I believe, had a 30% increased risk of developing conditions like polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, a leading cause of infertility. This is a lot about infertility, you guys. So we need to talk about this because if everybody's infertile, our species will not survive. Okay, so that's what we're hinging on here. Male fertility rates are on a sharp decline. A meta-analysis published in 2017 showed that sperm counts in men have dropped by over 50% between 1973 and 2011, which is probably more by now because it's kind of old, with exposure to endocrine disruptors and environmental pollutants being major contributors. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but the average age of puberty, especially for girls, has been declining. In the early 1900s, the average age for a girl to start her period was around 16 to 17 years old. Today, the average age for menarche, first period, in the US is around 12 years old. And I've heard of some girls starting as early as like 8, which is crazy. They say that it's mostly linked to EDCs, which are endocrine disrupting chemicals, phthalates, BPAs, pesticides. Those are all believed to be key roles in this trend. These chemicals are found in everyday products like plastics, cosmetics, food packaging, and they can mimic hormones, including estrogen, leading to earlier development. But I also believe, and I don't have this fact checked, but this same effect that's been having on little girls is causing older women to go into premenopause earlier, and also is leading to more breast cancer, the way that these mimic hormones and like mess with our estrogen and stuff. So basically, we're in a bind here, and it feels very frustrating that, it's all about profit over people, but there are things that we can do to make switches and hopefully avoid the dreaded C word and other health complications that are somewhat but not always avoidable just because it's everywhere, right? So don't expect yourself to be like, okay, I'm going to get rid of all microplastics and all chemicals. Like that's too stressful of a mission, okay? We're just going to lower them. And then we're also going to do our best to detox and live healthy lifestyles to prevent us from getting sick from our environments.
If there are any hypochondriacs, you've already turned this episode off. So everyone else, welcome. I have so much anxiety about this episode. You have no idea. But it's because it almost feels like no matter what you do, you can't outrun the amount of toxins. Well, so how is this? Let me ask you this question, because this is something you're super passionate about. How is this episode not going to freak, like not a fear-mongering episode? I don't think it is, but all those studies really actually made me afraid. So where do we go from here? Because now I want to be able to not worry about the thing. I didn't ever think about phthalates before you just said that word. I never thought about EDC. I thought that was like a rave concert.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm surprised to hear that. Maybe it's just my Instagram algorithm, but I'm being bombarded with this information all the time of like, oh, they just found out this is poisonous, and they just found out this is poisonous, and also this is poisonous, and also this is poisonous.
I know that they just found like unhealthy levels of arsenic in our tampons, ladies. So that's even like the organic ones, the organic cotton ones, they found like crazy arsenic in them. That's really great.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, let me use some period underwear, but then like most of the original period underwear brands use forever chemicals in their fabrics, so you're absorbing those through your hoo-ha, which is not good.
Not the hoo-ha.
So, yeah, what my intention with this episode is to educate and empower, not to cause fear. If you're stressing about it, you're only weakening your immune system even more. The point is not to stress.
Guys, don't be anxious.
The point is not to stress. The point
don't be anxious. Are you still anxious?
Understand what
don't be anxious.
With. What we're dealing with is a society that's become very toxic, very poisoned, and the best thing you can do is make your immediate environment as clean as it can be, which I think that just starts with knowing, first of all, what is poisonous, what's not. And then after you identify that, then you can figure out what is the best, easiest swap for you and your family. But if you don't know the problem, you can't fix the problem. So that's where I think the studies and the facts and the stats need to come in the beginning, not to spread fear, but just to spread awareness that this is a real problem that we're dealing with as humans, especially in America.
Yeah.
And I think
that's definitely true
that we talk about it and create solutions, because for every problem, there's already a solution that exists. But you can't really connect to the solution until you're aware of the problem and you decide to fix the problem.
Everything is figure outable.
Yeah.
So like if we talk about a choice and they opt not to make that choice, are they terrible people?
I'm not judging.
Oh, Kels. You're supposed to be like, no way. No. Everybody can make their own decisions.
I want people to be healthy. So I would wish for them to make choices that are in their best interest. But if they don't want to, like, that's fine. It's your life. Everyone has free will.
Okay, so before we get into the list, can we just do like a really quick roundtable? Knowing this information, what's the worst thing that you still do?
Ooh.
I burn candles. I really like them. But I also burn the wax. I think I try to burn the wax as often as possible instead of burning the scented candles. But what do you do?
Here's where I'm at. When I do something toxic, I'm choosing it consciously, like in moderation.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's
so
what
I'm
I was
like,
hoping.
Okay, well, for example, I was succumbing to my fall temptations and I was like, I don't want to be living this non-toxic lifestyle. I just want to be a regular girly who buys fall scented things. And I was just having this like breakdown. And I was like, I just am going to buy these soaps, even though I know they have fragrance, even though I know they're not clean ingredients like the ones I normally use, because I want to just have a little fall moment. Okay. Sue me. Right. So I did. And a part of regrets it because they smell very strong and they dry my hands out. These are Meyer's, by the way, which is a very greenwash brand. It's not as clean as they say it is.
What, Mrs. Meyer?
Yeah.
Oh, I have their scented soap. Are you telling me that's not good either? I thought I was doing so good.
It's not the best. There's better. There's better.
Okay.
But so I bought 4, which was like a 4-pack of all these different scents. And I was like, why did I buy this much? Now I have to use it forever. So I've been like giving it away and stuff to people. But yeah, so every once in a while, I have my moments. I try to buy candles that are with soy wax, but who knows if those are actually better. I usually just burn incense because I'm like, well, monks burn incense like for thousands of years. So
incense,
fine.
wax burners.
Even though they say incense are poisonous too. But I don't know, the worst thing I do would probably be like, I don't know, the occasional like fast food. I could definitely succumb to some like McDonald's hash browns for sure. A Wendy's Frosty, delish, need it when I'm on my period. By my house, there's a gas station that's like one of those 24/7 pilot gas stations, and it has like a Denny's attached to it, and it has a Cinnabon inside, and it's like literally a mile from my house. So every once in a while, when I'm on my period, I'm like, I'm gonna get a Cinnabon, and like obviously those are like
so
terrible,
good.
but they're so good. So yeah, I mean,
They're
I have my
so
moments.
Good.
I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just saying this is what I've learned, and these are some of the things that I found helpful, and maybe you'll find them helpful too.
Let's get into it. I'm excited. Let's go.
Lindsay's finally excited. Yes. Got her on board. Okay, so the first interesting thing, have you seen sound bites of this? Because they're talking about it on a lot of other podcasts about the frequencies of fabrics that we're now learning.
No.
Okay, so I'll give you a little rundown, even though freaking ChatGPT wouldn't point me to the exact study, but apparently in the Bible, there is a text that says, don't wear, I believe it's linen and wool at the same time. Something like that. It's in scripture. And so a woman was curious about this, and she wanted to test like the frequencies of fabrics. And what they found was that linen and wool have very high vibrations of 5,000 megahertz, I think it was. Let me see how it's described.
What the heck are you talking about?
Talking about science. Okay, give me a second. Yeah, so linen is said to have one of the highest frequencies, around 5,000 hertz. Wool also has a high frequency, reportedly similar to linen, around 5,000 hertz. Cotton is believed to have a lower but still beneficial frequency, which they said it was 100 hertz, which is about the same as a living, healthy human being is 100. Yeah. But then fabrics like polyester, nylon, and other synthetic fabrics have as low as 15 hertz. Okay, so which is the same vibration as someone who is sick or dying.
So what does that do to, like, if I wear acrylic or rayon, what does that mean for me? Does it make me sick? Is it just
I would conclude that it's not supporting your overall vibration of your health. Because think of how music affects your vibration. Think of how water affects your vibration. Think of how food affects your vibration. Anything on your body in your aura is also going to affect your vibration, right?
We should have done a whole episode on the freaking frequency of fabrics. This is so interesting. We need to get an expert. I need to talk to someone.
Interesting. Yeah. So the natural fibers are good. Organic cotton is good. They say regular cotton is not as good, but I would say it's still better than polyester or nylon or any other synthetic fabrics. But it's very fascinating and also interesting to note. In hospitals, they used to use linen sheets because they knew that the frequency was so high that it would help you heal faster.
Holy crap.
So basically,
this has changed my whole life.
We should all be sleeping on linen sheets, or I would say organic cotton sheets, with wool blanket. Well, not wool blankets and linen sheets, because they cancel each other out. So somehow the Bible was right about when you put them together, the polarities somehow like cancel the effects of the other. So don't do that, one at a time. But cotton, good. Organic cotton, better. Wool, good. Linen, good. So what I'm doing is when I find cute little things on Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, this dress is so cute, I want to buy it, I check what it's made out of. If it's made out of polyester, it's a no. If it's made out of cotton or linen, it's a yes. And luckily, I've noticed that more mainstream brands are starting to carry some more linen and cotton, but you kind of do have to go on the hunt for brands that carry linen and cotton and wool, like actual high quality fabric items.
And
Which
I will
I
be the
have found.
disclaimer
Yeah.
to the little asterisk at the bottom, like, this is one of those things that it's an investment. Linen and cotton happen to be, because they are natural and really good for you, happen to be on the more high end. It's not going to be something you'll probably find at Walmart. Maybe, but
Sometimes you can find cotton stuff at places like that, but you just have to check the tags.
You got to check the tags.
Mm-hmm.
You got to check the tags.
Yeah. So what I'm doing, in the process of doing, is getting more sheets that are made of linen and organic cotton, because sleeping is so many hours in the bed, right? So that's going to be like high impact.
We got those bamboo sheets a while ago, you and I.
Yeah, the Cozy Earth, and not to shit on Cozy Earth, but apparently,
well, they're not paying us anymore. So
viscose, which is what they're made out of, which is technically made out of bamboo, but the way that they make it is with a lot of chemicals, so it's not as good as like organic cotton.
Yeah. Okay.
Vibrational.
Well, I was afraid of that.
So yeah, but they are very comfortable. But I would say linen sheets are better. Organic cotton is better. Pajamas too, if you can buy some cotton pajamas. There's a website that I like shopping on now called Quincy, and they have a lot of stuff that's just like natural materials, and it's not astronomically expensive. It's very reasonably priced, and they're all just like classic items that will last you a long time, whether it's for your bed, whether it's for your body. So that's a good resource for you guys. But
Quincy?
Yes.
Cool.
Did you find it?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So I'll be buying pretty much like all my Christmas gifts for everyone on there, because I like to like spread this knowledge to all my friends and family, and then like get them started and get them hooked with like little gifts.
In case anyone wants to find it, it's QUINCE.
Yeah, it's easy. So that's crazy, right? But also like not surprising, because of course natural fibers would have a higher vibration than synthetic.
Never ever occurred to me to check the frequency of the things I wear.
But this is the bad part where everyone's going to hate me. So most athleisure, so your cute Lululemon, your cute whatever the fuck you're wearing, that's already super overpriced. It's basically all polyester, which is very bad, very toxic, very low vibrational. It's all coated in like waterproofing materials so that it wicks like the sweat off. And those are also very bad for you. So you're basically, and then they'll market it as like, oh, it's recycled polyester, which is basically like, or recycled plastic. So you're basically literally wearing trash. So if you don't want to wear trash and like open your pores when you sweat and then take in all these toxic chemicals and be wearing a low vibrational fabric to begin with, I would recommend swapping your athleisure for some, cute linen pants and a cotton top, or something else that is comfortable and not going to deter your health.
Can I please say what I thought you were going to call the episode?
What?
Kelsey has a way of saying stuff, right? She's very abrupt sometimes. And we were talking and I was like, I just want to like make sure and you even said, let's meet people where they're at. And then I said something I can't remember. And you're like, yeah, it's called, do you want to get cancer or not? And I'm like, oh no, I thought she wanted to name the episode that. She didn't.
I didn't say the episode is called Do You Want?
No, she didn't. But she said like, it's called Do You Want to Get Cancer or Not? But yeah, she just was being very, and I was like, oh my God, no, Kelsey. And she's like, I misunderstood, but it was very funny. I was like, we cannot do that. But
to me, at this point, as an old soul, I'm just like so fed up with humanity. I'm like, this is why I motherfucking have to keep motherfucking reincarnating and coming back, because people do not get it, right? So anyway, yeah, that's my spiel. That's why we're here. We're trying to raise the vibration of our lives, of our bodies, of the planet. And the only way to do that is to not participate in the toxicity. No more.
As much as we can. As much as we
can. Right. Which you can't do everything all in one lifetime, but we can make improvements. Okay. So the fabric, that's a huge one. Start there.
How does linen feel? Is it nice?
It depends on the blend. I feel like when it's blended with cotton, it's a little softer.
Are we allowed to do cotton and linen together?
Yeah, you can do cotton and linen together. There's sometimes I have like these pants that are like 100% linen that don't feel as flowy as I would like them to feel all the time, but it just depends. I like shopping in person too, so I can try stuff on, but that's just me.
Yeah, good call. Wow, that's so interesting. You hooked me. I'm hooked. Let's go. What's next?
Well, that one's kind of advanced too, so you're welcome, but I believe in all you High Vibin It listeners. I know you're ready. I know you can take it, okay? So the clothes and the fabrics, that's a big one. Okay, I just learned also, which I didn't know. I thought aluminum cans were just aluminum, which is like
Oh, yeah. No, I know all
metal.
about the pans.
Metal is natural. No, not the pans. The pans, yes, but the cans. Like when
Oh,
you buy your little
cans.
sparkling waters,
Oh,
yes.
you said pan. Yes, cans, like the aluminum cans with
Yeah.
vegetables or whatever. Can
Yes.
good.
So I just saw them melt like a soda can. I just saw some people on Instagram doing it.
Yeah, they're like lined with plastic.
And they're lined with plastic on the inside. I'm like, this is so unnecessary. So even when you're drinking those sparkling waters that you think are much better than soda, which to a degree they are, it's like they're still coming with microplastics that are leaching into the water. So what can we do? Just try to buy stuff that comes in glass bottles. So if you're like a sparkling water drinker, like we are in my house, you know, get your Pellegrino, get your stuff from Italy, get whatever you can find that comes in glass. Enough said there.
I like that. Well, we should talk about pans. Like cookware is completely, even the non-toxic is lined or underneath with the toxicity. Yeah. Anytime you can get copper, cast iron is probably the best. Stainless steel, or what's the other one? There was one that there's another one that people buy a lot. But yeah, those I'm trying to change out all of my pans for get rid of all my non-stick nonsense. Non-stick nonsense because it's all toxic.
A good way to remember. And then I didn't know, but there's like actually a better way to cook on stainless steel, and you have to like heat it up enough in order for it to become like non-stick. Yeah. If you're impatient like me, and you try to cook stuff before your pan's actually hot enough, that's when it gets all stuck, and then you're like, why do I use?
I just scrambled eggs yesterday in this stainless steel, and I was like, why does it always stick? That is a good point. I should just wait a little longer.
Yeah, you're supposed to wait until when you put the oil or like a bead of water on it, it would bubble and kind of dance around the surface. And that's how you know it's ready. And then it would actually be like non-stick when you use it. So it's all about the usage, people.
You know what's really cool here? If you guys are looking for like, because listen, those pans can be expensive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just troll my antique district and find some good used cast iron stuff that our grandmas used. And I'm going to season that bitch up.
Real good. We're going to season her real good.
All I don't have is a smaller skillet and a Dutch oven. I would really love to get a Dutch oven because they're so cute, and I would just cook in it all the time. But yeah, if you can't afford the new, which, you know, who knows if it's even authentic these days, go to the antique stores. Go to, you know,
thrift store. Always see them at antique stores. Cast iron. Yeah, I always find them there. Yeah. Speaking of the kitchen, let's move on to our next point.
Are we gonna talk about cleaning stuff?
Almost. I was gonna talk about cutting boards.
Cutting boards. Okay. Yeah.
Cutting boards, because the plastic ones are apparently very bad, which makes sense because when you cut on them, you're cutting away little plastic, and then it's getting
little pieces of plastic.
Food, and you're eating the plastic, like hardcore eating so much plastic. And they say now, this is another stat that ChatGPT gave me, that the average American eats about a credit card's worth of plastic every week.
And it's not like that stuff just comes out. You can't just process it through. It stays in your body. That's one of those things, especially microplastics.
It's hard to get it out. Yeah, now they're finding plastic in women's placentas and stuff, like after they give birth to the kids. So your baby's going to be like full of plastic. Everything's full of plastic. So it's like wherever we can cut it out, we have to.
So there's a thing with glass ones too. Those I saw something that was like, so what are we supposed to do? Because the plastic gives us plastic in our food, and glass ones dull our knives, and the wooden ones hold bacteria. So like, how are we supposed to work around this? I will say though that I would opt for wood over any of those three options, because it's just
wood is the way to go, and you just have to take a little more proper care with them. So what you're supposed to do to keep them clean and not grow molded bacteria in your wooden ones is what I do is I wash with soap and water after using it. Don't let them like sit in the sink with other dirty stuff either. Like wash it right away, and then
dry it because it'll warp.
And dry it really good, and then take lemon, put salt on the lemon, and then kind of exfoliate the whole board. then rinse that off, dry it really good, and then put it out in the sun for a few hours to really dry it, and the sun bleaches it too and disinfects it.
Guys, UV rays, I don't know who knows this or who needs to hear this. UV rays not only gets out stains, bacteria, but also smells. If you have something, my niece was doing something for her friend and she wanted to get this coat out of the garage and it smelled so bad, like mold and mildew and all that. And my niece was like, put it in the sun. And she did it for her. And within like 24 hours, the smell was gone and it smelled like brand new. So it's weird. The sun is freaking amazing. We could do a whole episode on the sun. But yeah, UV rays are magic.
Yes. Okay, so keeping on
Stop
the
wearing
kitchen
sunglasses is what I'm trying to say. No, don't do that.
keeping on the kitchen theme, tell us about your magical cleaner that you made.
Okay.
Which you showed
So
me,
for the
so
Patreon
cute.
people, I know we save this for the end, like we shout out to Patreon people, but if you are watching on Patreon, you're about to be in for a treat because I actually brought my homemade that got off of Reels, Instagram Reels. Somebody was saying that they made this all natural cleaner with half a mason jar of half water, half vinegar, and then you put in like a bunch, like a handful of pine needles. I used white pine, but if it smells like pine, you can probably use it as long as it's not too sticky or sappy. White pine is the one that I like to use. And cut up either a whole lemon or half a lemon, depending on how much you can fit in the jar. And then just let it sit for at least 24 hours, but you can let it set for as long as possible. And the more you let it set, the more it'll concentrate. And I made it, and it's so pretty. Look at it. If you can't see it, it's because you don't have a Patreon. You don't have us on Patreon, but you can if you go to patreon.com/highvibe. You get extended episodes, video versions, so you can see my beautiful face and my cleaning product and Kelsey's amazing shirt that she's wearing today. But yeah, we have lots of goodies in the Patreon, so go join if you're not. But if you are, yeah, make this because it's really, really awesome.
And
I got
tell
2
us
jars of it.
all the things it can replace.
All the things it can replace, I mean, I don't even know. Probably Pine Sol, probably Lysol, probably like, because vinegar is a power cleaner anyway. It's definitely a cleaning, but it can also repel insects because that's really good for vinegar, what vinegar does as well. So, I mean, I'm just going to use it for everything. I haven't used it yet, but it just finished stewing, which is really funny that we're doing the episode now. But I will keep you guys posted on how well it works. But people swear by this stuff. I'm excited.
So you don't need to buy those toxic counter all-purpose sprays for your counters. You can just literally make this and clean.
Make it. It's so much fun. If you're like me, like I like to make things like this. I love to make things in general, but to know that I can make it and then also use it and it actually is good for my house and me and my kids and it is non-toxic, it just feels really, really good to be able to do that. It's so much more fulfilling than just picking it off a shelf and wondering what's in it.
And it smells better.
I'm going to smell it. I'm going to smell it right now. I wish you could smell it with me, but you're where you are and I'm where I am and we can't do that. Oh my God. Okay. Do you know when you go to the fair and you get the lemonade at the fair?
Oh, fresh lemonade.
That's what this smells like.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
I don't even notice the vinegar, honestly. I'm not like a huge vinegar fan, but I'll use it because I know it's very effective and it's my friend. But with the pine too, I wish I could describe it, you guys. It kind of smells like lemonade, but like toothpaste, but like in a good way. This is weird. I love it. It smells like Pine Sol kind of too.
And it's amazing because think of all the plastic spray bottles that we go through just to clean our countertops in a year.
Yeah.
And then all the households that are doing that in the world. And then all the plastic we could avoid if we just mixed a little vinegar with some lemon. Like, how hard is that?
I'm actually so excited. So what you do is you just strain this and you put it in a spray bottle. That's all I'm going to do.
Yeah.
A reusable one.
And if you shop it all on Clean Cult or Grove or even on Amazon, you can get really cute glass spray bottles that you can reuse and refill with different stuff. So you're not wasting plastic all the time.
And if you have little kids and you're worried about glass, stainless steel. You can get stainless steel too.
Yeah, because for me, like at this point in my non-toxic journey, I'm like, well, if it comes in plastic, it's still toxic to the earth. So is it really non-toxic? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, if it's the perfect product, it has to be not coming in plastic and also be non-toxic for me and my family.
Oh, and the best part is this probably cost me total. I got the pine from outside. I got the lemon for like 50 cents. And I got the vinegar for like $1. So yeah, that's how much it costs. And I made like 2 jars of it.
Yeah, and they're huge. This is not like a small mason jar. This is like
No,
as big as her head. The big
this is
kind.
like a spaghetti sauce jar. I think it actually was a spaghetti sauce jar that I saved.
So those are some amazing swaps for the kitchen. The other one I will throw in really fast is if you are mopping your floor with any kind of like fabuloso or pine sol or any of those like really scented fragrant things, you're basically just like smudging fragrance all over your floors and it doesn't actually clean that good. What I've been doing is using just a steamer. I bought like a Shark steamer. It was like 99 bucks. I don't go through mops. I don't go through Swiffer pads. Like I don't do any of that. And you just steam with water. And sometimes if I want to be fancy, I'll put a little essential oils in there so it smells really
Yeah.
nice. Double check
Well,
because not all essential oils are safe for pets, but
yeah.
find the ones that are if you have pets, and then you can use them on your floor and it disinfects, it sanitizes, it cleans, it dries much more quickly than using chemicals, and it's not going to give you cancer. Yay.
Well, and to just speak on the price, as somebody who used a Swiffer, it's like if to get a decent one is like 30 bucks for the kit for like the starter kit. And then just rebuying those pads, you're gonna be spending more because the steamer it can last way longer than a plastic, whatever it's called, plastic Swiffer. So
Yeah, and
I had the wet jet, and if you want to get something that actually works and lasts longer, you're gonna be probably saving money in the long run.
yeah, and saving garbage because think every time you have to use like three
Yeah.
pads because they dry out after like one tiny bathroom.
If you love the show, you're missing out if you're not on our Patreon. For just a few bucks a month, you can unlock exclusive perks that take your High Vibin It experience to the next level.
Imagine getting early access to every episode an entire week ahead and enjoying extended video episodes, sometimes with up to 40 minutes of bonus content. Plus, you'll get fun behind the scenes footage and exclusive Oracle card pulls just for you.
And the best part is you'll get to download exclusive resources, chat about episodes with us, and be part of an inner circle that makes this show possible. Plus, you'll get to join live hangouts with us inside Patreon, and our next live hangout is happening December 3rd.
Don't miss out on all these incredible perks. Visit patreon.com/highvibe or hit the link in our show notes to join today.
Well, to be fair, I did actually end up buying the reusable ones. So I thought I was doing really good. But now I'm like, I bought a Swiffer for this house. I haven't even opened it. I can't bring myself to use it.
Return it.
I know. I want to return it. Because I ended up buying one of those vacuum/mop. It's not a Shark steamer, but it does both. And it works way better than the Swiffer. So yeah, I'm on board with that one for sure.
And steaming is fun. My steamer, it's like it has little pads on the bottom that spin and you like wash them and reuse them. And it like kind of hovers on the floor when you like go back and forth, and it feels very futuristic and very satisfying. So highly recommend the whole experience of just steaming. It's non-toxic. It gets the job done. I have a puppy, so the house has been, a little soiled here and there every once in a while, and it gets rid of everything. So if you have kids, if you have a messy house, I think that's the way to go. It's definitely the safest, and it's a good long-term investment, I would say. A nice steamer.
Good.
Speaking of the home, let's talk about air fresheners and anything
I was gonna say
fragrant.
Yeah.
My gosh. Okay, so if you have anything in your house that is from Glad, that is from Febreze, and you want to get cancer,
Bath and Body Works,
please just throw it away right now. Thank me later. I know you probably spent a fortune on it, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I heard, and I couldn't freaking find the study, but I heard this somewhere where they were trying to see like if Febreze has like forever chemicals and if it gets stuck in your body, and they were somehow like, I don't know, finding it in deceased bodies, like going through these bodies, and the particles were
What,
stuck.
you mean you don't spray your dead uncle with Febreze every time you go visit him in the cemetery?
So people who were using Febreze that are now dead, not going to say it was because of the Febreze, because I don't know, but now they're dead, and they opened up their bodies, and there were particles left over that like never left the body, and they were just accumulating because what they do, and I'm not a scientist, so I'm not describing this the best, so don't come at me, don't sue me, but what they do is they add chemicals to the chemical fragrances to make them last longer. And I think they're like oil based, and somehow our body just doesn't process them, and they just accumulate inside of us, and then we die and someone's opening up our body and like, why is this Febreze in here? It's disgusting.
Gross. On a side note, Febreze does smell really, really good. but it's evil.
What smells good?
Febreze. I love Febreze,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
don't use it. I don't use it anymore. I haven't used it for years, but I do miss it sometimes.
So do you use anything to make your home smell good?
You know what I'm going to say. I've been so excited to talk about simmer pots.
Yeah, let's talk about it, girl.
Simmer pots. I love a simmer pot, especially in the fall because it heats up the house sometimes. Like if you need it, you could put apple and cinnamon stick, and you can basically make a dessert in a pot and then just simmer it. And what's cool about the simmer pot, I don't waste an apple for a simmer pot. I eat the apple and throw the core because it's still going to smell amazing. I may pop a few spices in there, so those are wasted, but it's fine because it's spices. But no, I don't waste the fruit. Like if my kid eats an orange, I'll pop the orange peel in there. And it kind of looks gross after a couple days, but you heat it up, you boil it, you simmer it, and it keeps smelling fresh the more stuff you add to it. And then eventually, like after a few days, I throw it out because I can't look at it anymore. And then I start a new one. But you don't have to waste full fruits. You don't have to use like the whole orange. You can just use the peel or the lemon peel after you use the lemon for your cleaning product or for your cutting board and throw it in the simmer pot. And it lights up, it makes the whole house glow with like a cozy smell. I like to do wintry ones. Are there different ones that you like to do?
Yeah, I like the fall. I like fall.
Yeah, you like the fall ones too.
Like cinnamon and pine and yeah.
I bet you could do like a summer version where you put in maybe rose petals or something.
You could do like lemon, orange, yeah, like different flowers and stuff. So that's a great way to make the house smell lovely. Also, baking soda. You can use baking soda to clean your carpets, to clean your fabric, to get rid of smells. Keep it in your fridge, keep it in your pantry. So that's going to neutralize a lot of odors. And then you can make homemade room sprays too. I haven't done
this
it, but
this could be a whole room spray.
Yeah,
what I made for the cleaning product. It can do really anything. It's so versatile. But just pick your favorite essential oil and spray it around. Well, be careful on fabrics, I guess.
Yeah, do a little research, but just know that it's possible. You don't have to use all these toxins in your home if you want it to smell good. You have other options.
Plugins, throw the plugins out because that's just
plugins are really, really, really bad for your health, especially in the car, especially in the house. Like, please stop using those. We beg you. We beg you.
It's like at some point, the professionals, the people in charge, stopped asking like, okay, but how's this going to affect humans? And then eventually we stopped asking, wait, but how's this going to affect me? So if we can just restart asking that question for most things, maybe you'll like the answer, maybe you'll feel good about it, and then maybe you'll second guess and put it back on the shelf and save yourself $10 and getting sick maybe.
If you get sick, well, if you avoid getting sick, you're going to save yourself a lot of money, especially
a lot of money.
In the US. So think of the long-term payoffs, okay? Think of the long-term payoffs. I want to end with a big one, a banger, so to speak, and then I want to go over to the Patreon to talk about a few more and just continue this conversation with some more nuanced ones. But I don't think we would be doing a very good job on this episode if we didn't talk about EMF blockers as a potential solution to the phones. Also, if we didn't mention the AirPods and the Bluetooth devices, they're still in the process of proving how bad they are for you. But if you think about it, it's kind of like microwaving your brain. So
this I actually know a lot about, and I'm on both sides of it because I'm completely against the AirPods, the earbuds, the Bluetooth ones, because yes. And Apple is the biggest culprit almost across the board when it comes to the cell phones, when it comes to the headphones, when it comes to pretty much all of it. Apple's EMFs is through the roof. Samsung is not quite as bad. But my husband, this is why I say I'm on both sides. My husband always has an earbud. Always, 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 always at every moment of the day. And I'm done. Like I've given up. Like I've tried to tell him. But he has actually like come to my side when it comes to the kids. Like he will lean towards me when it comes to like, if I say no and he doesn't care, then it's a default to no because, why not? But we did get Aiden some Bluetooth over ear headphones, which is an alternative. Instead of sticking it right next to your brain, it has that like extra cushion. But if you can get wired, I still have wired. I still use my wired ones. I don't think I'm ever going to not use wired headphones just because once I learned how much electromagnetic frequencies could be going into my brain. Like, oh my gosh, no, absolutely not. Yeah, so that's one thing. You can buy over ears or you can buy just wired ones. The blockers though, I did actually buy some blockers for our cell phones. I forget what mineral it is. Is it black tourmaline? What is it? Do you
I think
know?
it's tourmaline or onyx. It's one of like the black
Onyx.
stones.
Onyx sounds familiar. I'm gonna look it up on my because I got them off Amazon. Hold on.
There are crystals that literally absorb these bad energies for you.
Yes,
You don't have
yes.
to. So revert to your crystal friends, use them as helpers. We're not saying get rid of your phone, never use your phone, but we might recommend, like, FaceTiming people instead of talking to them on your ear, or I always use speakerphone. I'm like an old lady.
Always
I'm
use
always
speakerphone.
on
Yep.
speakerphone. So I'm not holding it to my brain. Less
But
screen time is
what it's
obviously good.
doing, if you wonder, is that when your phone is just on, let's say it's on Wi-Fi or it's on Bluetooth or cellular service, it will constantly be cycling through looking for a signal. So it's constantly bringing the EMFs into the room. But if you buy a blocker, like, oh, I found out what it's called. It's called shungite. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Mm.
Shungite, shungite. And they're these little black discs. There's some kind of crystal or mineral that you can stick to your phone, stick to your, smart device, and it will help to block those. You can stick it on your computer, your laptop, anything that has Bluetooth or wireless signal, stick it on there, and it will help to block some of that from affecting you, from harming you. When I go to sleep, the cell phone's not in the room. That's important. I know Kelsey does that too. If I have to have it in the room, I'll put it on airplane mode. If I'm charging it or something, I'll just put it on airplane mode, or I'll even turn it off. There's no reason to have it. Anyone who tries to get a hold of me knows that I'm not going to answer anyway, so don't. And
You
everyone
know
that
what I
could be
saw
in danger.
too?
What?
I just saw these little sacks. It looks like a jewelry bag, but it's for your phone and it's supposedly an EMF blocker. So that seems
Cool.
like a good situation. If you have to sleep next to your phone, put it in the little baggie that blocks the
Yeah.
EMFs. But also just one last thing before we wrap it up and keep talking about this on the Patreon, Wi-Fi. If you can, turn it off when you're sleeping. It'll help you sleep better and the vibes won't mess with your vibes. And what I do is I have like basically like an electricity timer, kind of like a Christmas light timer, and I set it at 11 p.m. every night. The Wi-Fi goes down. It turns off the Wi-Fi,
Ooh.
and that helps you, one, not binge watch too much TV because you're streaming everything these days. And two, it helps you sleep amazing. And then it comes back on
Kelsey,
at
that's
like,
a good one.
yeah, I think I have it come back on at 6 or 7 in the morning so we can still
So
get
that
all
it's
our
on by the time you
emails.
need
And
it.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
already on by the time you need it. But that is a really amazing life hack.
I will say, if anybody wants to do this experiment, I did it for myself and it really opened my eyes to this. Sometimes I will forget to turn off my Wi-Fi, or my son charges his phone in my room and he'll forget to turn off the Wi-Fi. And every time I sleep like shit, or I have really restless sleep, or I just feel crappy the next day, it's always when the phone's, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not like wonder about this before? Of course it affects you. So it never fails. Anytime that happens, it's usually because one of the phones or one of the devices is still on Wi-Fi. So if you shut down the Wi-Fi, that is actually a really good idea. You can get a smart plug on Amazon that you can time. Ironically, you can do it from your phone. You can turn off the Wi-Fi from your phone, but you may have to manually turn it back on. But there's also the Christmas timer. I like that a lot. I'm actually going to do that. I really am. Why
It's
not,
literally
right?
just an extension cord with a timer, and then I just set the time that it's on and the time that it's off, and then it just automatically turns it on and off every day. It's great.
Dang. That's a
Mhm.
really good one. And you don't have to do anything different because it does it for you. That's cool.
Yeah, and then you're not like, oh, let me unplug my Wi-Fi. Let me plug in my Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not sustainable. That's just one more added stress to the day.
You
that
set
we
it and
cannot.
forget it. That's cool. I
Yes,
like it.
exactly. So I think this is a good place to head over to the Patreon and talk about this a little bit more. But in summary, just do what you can. Okay. Take your power back. Don't let these greedy corporations deteriorate your health. It's good to be educated. It's good to find good swaps. And if you're like too overwhelmed to like start making your own dishwasher pods and your own kitchen counter cleaner and your own glass spray, like you don't have to. There are brands that are better than others. I will say a great place to start is Clean Cult. I like a lot of their products. They don't come in plastic. They are actually non-toxic. For toothpaste, we really like Lumino. They supported our show for a while.
Yes, Lumino's
Amazon.
good.
It's the only certified non-toxic toothpaste that's like a paste, because there are non-toxic ones that are like little, they're almost like little balls that you like chew on like a candy, and then it becomes frothy. And I like those too. Those usually come in glass. But
well, Lumino actually works to do something that toothpaste stopped caring about, which is reset the pH of your mouth. The reason that a lot of bacteria grows and you have, all these mouth diseases is because the pH is off. Not always, but it's a big factor. And so Lumino is really great with making that a priority to reset the pH of your mouth and bacteria so that you have a healthy mouth all around.
And this is not even a commercial. They don't.
Yeah, they're not paying us.
We just use it and we like it. And we don't want people to get cancer from using your Listerine and your Colgate and everything else that's toxic. So Lumino's great. Also, what did I say? Clean Cult. Grove is a good place to start. But my thing with Grove is that they still do have some brands that are very just like greenwashed. So they're like fake non-toxic. And they do have stuff that comes in plastic, and they say it's plastic neutral or whatever, that they recycle as much plastic as is produced for the orders. But I'm still just like, it could be better. So I would say Grove is like bottom of my totem pole, but still better than like shopping at Target, Walmart, CVS, buying toxic stuff there. Next level would be like Clean Cult. Next level would be like making your own stuff. So that's like a good hierarchy.
The good thing about toothpaste is you could just use baking soda. Like, here's the cool thing about growing up really poor. We didn't have money for toothpaste all the time, so my dad would just throw some baking soda at us. I learned about so many natural products just because we couldn't afford to buy the real stuff. So baking soda, great. Hydrogen peroxide, great. Probably not together. It may cause a chemical reaction. I'm not sure. Don't do that. Also, coconut oil. Oil pulling is so beneficial for your mouth. If you haven't looked into it, look into that and all of these other products. Like, you could be saving so much money. It doesn't have to be like, I'm going to be spending more to live clean. You could actually start living way cleaner for way less money, like I did with my cleaning solution. So yeah, we're just here to give you all the options, and hopefully you can find the thing that's right for you and your family and start feeling really good about the things you put in your body, in your house, in your food. It's all up to us. That's the cool thing. Like, you can decide.
Exactly. Just because everything is poison doesn't mean everything in your life needs to be poisonous. So
yeah,
we'll just leave it at that. And FYI, we're not doctors. We're not scientists. We're just two girls on a non-toxic living journey that are sharing our journey with you guys. So hopefully you found this helpful. Thank you for throwing out all your poisonous stuff in our names, and you're welcome for helping save your life. And what else do I want to say before we sign off to the Patreon?
Oh my gosh. You're so funny. Well, I think that's it. If you guys are looking to connect with us outside of the show, get with us on social media. We both have websites. I have a membership you can join for all your hypnotherapy needs. Kelsey has a retreat coming up. Am I right?
Yeah.
Retreat.
When
is that?
2025.
Spring of 2025. So check us out on social. I'm sure we're going to be talking about all of the things we offer. If this is your first episode, go back and listen to the rest. They're great. And we love you very much. Go join us on Patreon, patreon.com/High Vibe. You'll get a lot of cool stuff that make it worth it. And you will support the show. And we will love you forever.